I was hiding in the closet to surprise our daughter for her birthday. Instead, I watched my husband paint fake bruises on his arm and ruin our marriage. Honey, let me tell you, I was squatting in that cramped, dusty walk-in closet with a $60 stuffed axolotl, knees cracking, smelling old, dry cleaning and betrayal. It was October 14th, my daughter Chloe's 6th birthday. I had been wedged in there for exactly 22 minutes, waiting for the sound of the front door so I could jump out and be the fun mom for once. Let me give you the backstory so you understand how we got to this level of clownery. I'm Val, 36, an architect in Seattle. I make good money, about $160K a year, which means I pay the mortgage, the bills, the car notes, and the credit cards. My husband Gavin had been a stay-at-home dad for the last 4 years since he got laid off from his graphic design gig. And honestly, I thought we had a rhythm. I brought home the bacon, he fried it, and we both loved our kid. But looking back, the red flags were waving and I was just colorblind. For the last 3 months, Gavin had been acting like spicy, and not in a good way. He was cold, distant, and glued to his phone like it contained the nuclear codes. He started picking fights over the pettiest nonsense. If I left a coffee mug in the sink, it was a lecture on how I disrespected his labor. If I came home late from a site visit, I was abandoning the family. And the questions about money. Lord, the questions. How much is in the 401k now? Is the life insurance policy up to date? Why is your name the only one on the investment account? I brushed it off. I thought he was insecure because he wasn't earning. I tried to be supportive. I was booking date nights, buying him new tech, trying to fix a crack in the foundation that I didn't realize was actually a sinkhole. So back to the closet. I hear heavy footsteps. Not Chloe's little pitter-patter. Gavin's heavy boots. The bedroom door creaks open. I tighten my grip on the stuffed axolotl, ready to yell, "Surprise!" if Chloe runs in behind him. But she doesn't. It's just Gavin. He doesn't check the room. He walks straight to the full-length mirror right in front of the closet door. Through the slats of the louvered doors, I have a front row seat to the freak show. He pulls a small kit out of his pocket. At first, I think, is that a ring box? Is he going to practice a proposal renewal? Nope. He opens it, and it's a palette, like an artist's palette. He takes a sponge, dabs it into some purple and yellow cream, and starts applying it to his upper arm. I'm freezing. My brain is trying to buffer, but the Wi-Fi is down. Is he doing cosplay? He works quickly. Within 2 minutes, he has created a masterpiece of a bruise. It looked nasty, purple at the center, yellowing at the edges. If I didn't know better, I'd scream. Then he messes up his hair. He pulls his shirt collar so it looks stretched. Then he sets up his phone on the dresser, hits record, and his face changes. It wasn't Gavin anymore. It was this terrified, broken victim. I don't know what to do anymore, he whispers to the camera, tears literally welling up in his eyes. How did he do that on command? Val hit me again. She was angry about the laundry. She threw a vase. I'm scared for Chloe. I'm scared she's going to hurt our daughter next. She controls all the money and I can't leave. I'm trapped. He turns his arm to the camera, zooming in on the fake bruise. Look at what she did to me. My stomach didn't just drop, it vacated the premises. I felt like I was going to vomit all over my Jimmy Choos. If you're already shook, hit that like button because I haven't even gotten to the worst part yet. Wait until you hear who was helping him. He stops recording, wipes his eyes instantly, checks the video, nods, then, and this is the part that made my blood boil, he sends the video to someone. He types a quick text, grabs a makeup wipe, cleans his arm, and walks out of the room whistling. I stayed in that closet for another 10 minutes because my legs physically wouldn't work. My husband, the man I shared a bed with, the father of my child, was manufacturing evidence to frame me for domestic abuse. He was going to take my house, my money, and my daughter and put me in jail. I finally crawled out. I left the axolotl on the bed. I needed evidence. I needed to know who he sent that video to. I crept downstairs. I could hear him in the kitchen, clanging pots, acting like the perfect dad. His iPad, the family iPad that Chloe used for Minecraft, was sitting on the coffee table, charging. I grabbed it and ran to the bathroom, locking the door. My hands were shaking so bad I entered the passcode wrong twice. 1986. Unlocked. I went straight to iMessage. Since his phone and iPad were synced to the same iCloud, everything was there. He had sent the video to his sister, Rebecca. Got the clip, he texted. Does the bruising look real enough? I used the yellow like you said? Rebecca replied, perfect. That looks brutal. Save it to the hidden folder. Don't post it yet. Wait until after the bank transfer on the 15th. The 15th, my bonus payout date, they were timing my destruction around my payroll schedule. The audacity was truly breathtaking. I scrolled up. It went back months. Did you talk to the lawyer? Gavin wrote in August. Yeah, Rebecca replied. He says since you're the primary caregiver, if you document fear and violence, you get the house and full custody. Washington is a no-fault state, but abuse changes everything. Then I saw the text that broke me, October 10th. Gavin wrote, Chloe is confused, but I'm working on her. I told her mommy is mean when she yells. I'm getting her to practice saying, mommy hurts daddy. He was coaching my 6-year-old. He was brainwashing our daughter to testify against me. I took screenshots of everything. I emailed them to my work address, my secure server, and printed them to the wireless printer in my home office upstairs. I deleted the sent emails from the iPad so he wouldn't see. Then I heard the front door open. Chloe was home from school. Daddy, mommy. I had to walk out of that bathroom, go downstairs, and hug the man who was planning to destroy me. I had to smile. I had to watch him cut the birthday cake, looking at me with those lying eyes, asking, hey, babe, you look pale. Everything okay? Just a headache, honey, I said. Just a headache. That night, after Chloe went to sleep, clutching her new axolotl, I told Gavin I had a deadline and went to my office. I didn't work. I Googled aggressive family law attorneys, Seattle. I found a woman named Shark. Okay, her name was Sharon, but she was a shark. I emailed her everything at 2 a.m. The next morning, I took the day off. I told Gavin I had site inspections. Instead, I was in Sharon's glass-walled office, hyperventilating. Sharon looked at the screenshots. She looked at the timestamp of my closet photo. Yes, I took a selfie in the closet with the timestamp, proving I was there when he recorded the video. This is a conspiracy, Sharon said, her eyes gleaming. He's creating fraudulent evidence. But Val, we have to be careful. Judges in Seattle are very protective of the primary caregiver. If he files first, you're out of the house tonight. We need to nuke him. How? I asked. We need the source of the makeup. Did he buy it, or did someone do it for him? I remembered the kit. It looked professional. I went back through the bank statements, nothing on our joint cards, but then I checked his PayPal. A payment of $250 to StageFX Buy page on October 12th, 2 days ago. Sharon hired a private investigator immediately. Within 24 hours, we knew who Paige was, a local theater makeup student. We filed an emergency ex parte motion for custody and a restraining order based on psychological abuse and fraudulent fabrication of evidence. Here's where it gets spicy. Gavin had no idea I knew. He was still playing the long game, waiting for my bonus check to hit on Friday. On Thursday afternoon, the process server knocked on the door. I was at work, parked down the street. I watched on the Ring camera. Gavin answers. The guy hands him a thick envelope. You've been served. Gavin looks confused. He opens it on the porch. I see his face drop. He pulls out his phone immediately. He calls Rebecca. I'm listening to the Ring audio. She knows! He panicked. Becky, she knows. She filed. She has the texts. I drove up the driveway right then. I wanted to see it in person. I walked up the steps. He looked at me like I was a ghost. You monitored my private messages? He shouted, trying to flip the script immediately. That's illegal. That's invasion of privacy. It's a family iPad, Gavin, I said, deadpan, and you're standing in my house. Which, by the way, the judge just granted me temporary exclusive use of. You have 30 minutes to pack a bag. He tried to square up. You can't do this. I'm the primary caregiver. I'm the victim here. Save it for the Oscars, Gavin, I said. Get out. Make sure you're subscribed, because the update I'm about to drop regarding the court hearing is going to make you scream. The court hearing was 2 weeks later. Gavin showed up with a lawyer who looked like he chased ambulances for a living. He was still trying to push the abuse narrative. His lawyer stood up and actually said, Your Honor, Mrs. Valentina controls the finances and uses money to abuse my client. The video evidence, while staged, was a reenactment of true events he was too scared to film live. A reenactment. Can you believe the audacity? My lawyer, Sharon, stood up. She didn't just walk, she glided. Your Honor, we call Paige Miller to the stand. Gavin's face went white. He didn't know we found her. Paige was nervous. She was just a college kid. Ms. Miller, Sharon asked, did the defendant hire you on October 12th? Yes, Paige squeaked. And what did he ask for? He asked for a consultation on realistic injury simulation. He bought a Ben Nye bruise wheel and asked me to teach him how to make a bruise look 3 days old. Did he mention a play, a movie? No, Paige said. He said he wanted to play a prank on his wife. The judge, a stern woman in her 60s who looked like she tolerated zero nonsense, lowered her glasses. She looked at Gavin. Gavin shrank into his cheap suit. Then Sharon played the audio I pulled from the Ring camera. She knows, Becky, she knows. It was a wrap. The judge looked at Gavin and said, Mr. Rossi, in my 20 years on the bench, I have rarely seen such a calculated, malicious attempt to weaponize the legal system against a spouse. You didn't just lie, you plotted to destroy this woman's life and alienate her child. The fallout. I got full legal and physical custody. Gavin gets supervised visitation, 2 hours a week at a center with a social worker watching him like a hawk. He is not allowed to talk to Chloe about the case or me or money. The judge also ordered him to vacate the house immediately, which he already had, and, get this, ordered him to pay me legal fees. Since he has no income, they are garnishing his future wages. Good luck with that, seeing as he's unemployable now. Update 1, 2 weeks later. So Gavin is living on Rebecca's couch. Rebecca, by the way, blocked me on everything, but mutual friends tell me she is telling everyone I paid off the judge. Delusional runs in the family, apparently. The saddest part is Chloe. The first few nights were hard. She kept asking where Daddy was. We got her into play therapy immediately. The therapist told me something chilling. In their session, Chloe was playing with dolls. She had the daddy doll fall down and yelled, Mommy pushed him, Mommy is bad. When the therapist asked, did you see Mommy push him? Chloe said, no, Daddy said so. We have to practice for the video. My heart broke. He was treating our daughter like a prop in his little movie. When we presented that therapist's report to the court, the judge suspended his visitation entirely until he completes a 12-week parenting and anti-manipulation course. Update 2. Months later, the divorce. The divorce was finalized last week because of the egregious conduct, legal speak for being a psycho. The judge waived any alimony. I don't have to pay him a dime of spousal support. Gavin tried to argue that since he was a stay-at-home dad, he was entitled to maintain his standard of living. The judge literally laughed. She said, Sir, your standard of living was fraudulent. I kept the house, I kept my pension, I kept my bonus. But the real kicker, Gavin tried to start a GoFundMe called Father's Rights. Help me fight a corrupt system. He raised about $400 before someone, definitely not me, okay, maybe me, sent the link to the court transcripts to the GoFundMe fraud department. The campaign was taken down for violating terms of service regarding criminal activity. Final update, the karma. So, I ran into Gavin yesterday. It's been 6 months. I was at the grocery store and he was bagging groceries. I'm not shaming the job. Work is work. But for a man who refused to get a job for 4 years because it was stifling his creativity, seeing him putting eggs in a bag was poetry. He saw me. He saw Chloe in the cart. She didn't see him. He looked like he wanted to approach us. I just stared him down. I gave him the don't you dare look. He turned away and went to the break room. Chloe is doing great. She stopped repeating the scripts he taught her. We're redecorating the house to get rid of his bad energy. And that closet, I turned it into a shoe sanctuary. No more hiding. So here is my question for you guys. My mother-in-law, Gavin's mom, just reached out saying, I'm being cruel for keeping Chloe from her father and that he made a mistake out of desperation. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let his family see my daughter until they admit what he did? Let me know in the comments. And seriously, check your closets, ladies. You never know what kind of trash is hiding in there.